Hi, welcome to C-Physio. My name's David, I'm the lead physiotherapist and I'm here to talk to you today about our exercise of the month. So our first exercise of the month is the Clam, and I've got a few bits of kit here, so I'm going to run through some different options as to how you can work your Clam to make it a bit more interesting and to change it up and to change the focus on each of the different parts of the hip joint. Now the glutes, okay, the big muscle around at the back of your hip, is a really strong muscle and it's made up of three parts. There's the gluteus maximus, the gluteus medius and the gluteus minimus, and all three of those sections will be worked in some way when you're doing a Clam exercise. Clams are really important as well to improve your squat function, lunge function, all the different sort of functional movements that we do and the movements that we do on our feet are directly influenced by how strong the glutes are. So the Clams are really versatile, really important exercise to be able to improve all aspects of your movement and of your function. So to start with, we'll go down onto your side. Alright, the Clam starts with your feet together, alright, in line with the back, knees bent at about 90 degrees, hips at 45. Alright, and from there we're going to start by rotating top leg out to the side and return. Alright, so to begin with, what I do is I do sets of 8 to 10 repetitions. If you start to feel it pulling into the back of the hip, you might need to stop a bit sooner. But the key thing is that you're keeping the pelvis level. We don't want it dropping towards, we don't want the tummy dropping towards the mat. We don't want the pelvis rocking backwards as you turn the leg out to the side. The pelvis wants to stay nicely forward. So we're rotating that top leg out to the side. There's a bit of a variation. We can lift and hold. You hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, take it an inch higher. Hold for 8, 7, 6. You should really start to feel that kicking into the back of the hip now. Start to feel that intensity rise, okay? And then at the top there, we start to pulse it, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and relax it back down. Okay, you might just give it a stretch out after you've done those routines, just to give your hip a bit of a relaxation time and ease it off a bit, alright? So one of the bits of kit that you can use is a TheraBand or a resistance band, okay, a little clingy band, named lots of different terms, but the main thing is get something that's going to give you a bit of support and resistance. So what you do is you put that over your ankles, up around your knees, okay, and from there achieve the same position, and from there we just rotate with a bit more resistance. So it's going to make that hip work a little bit harder. Right, remember to do this on both sides whenever you're doing the exercise, so you don't have one glute that's really nice and strong and the other one that's falling behind. Alright, so make sure that that's over the knees. Alright, we can bring it, change the colour of the band to change the intensity. Here I haven't got a loop, I've got just one long piece of band. Okay, if you want to use just the long piece of band, you don't want to tie in a circle, put the top, put it over the top of one knee, bring it underneath the other knee, and from that position, you just hold the band in place. Right? And from there, we do the same thing. Just rotate that top leg out to the side to start working the outside of the hips. Now that's a really nice way of using your Clam without having to tie your TheraBand into a loop if you need it for other exercises like that. Okay. Moving on, we've got your Pilates ball. With this Pilates ball, these are nice soft balls, but you can use a football, you can use a tennis ball in between your feet, to make that a bit harder. So you put the ball in between the feet. From there, we're lying down into your Clam position. Make sure those heels are in line with the back again. Make sure that pelvis is nice and stable. We rotate that top leg out to the side and return. It's just a little bit harder than having your foot stable on top of the other side. Okay, we can lift the feet up, and again trying to keep that leg nice and stable as we rotate out to the side. That's a nice way of using your ball just to make that exercise a bit harder. Alright? So moving on, we've got your Pilates ring. Again, this is a bit like your TheraBand really. Right? You just put that around the knees, just rest that top knee in contact with the floor. Okay. Keep the pelvic headlights pointing forwards and then just twisting it out. You're not going to move quite so far. It's going to give you a little bit of resistance to the outside of the knee. Alright. The other way that you can do it is to put it in between the knees, and then it starts to become more of an adductor exercise. So you probably won't want to target this as your main exercise, but as an exercise to relieve that hip tightness. We can squeeze down and then let that range of movement gradually increase. This will support the muscle, mean it doesn't have to work so hard, and should hopefully make it a little bit easier to get some range of movement. Alright, so we squeeze it together, let the legs relax down, and then open that out to the side and feel that stretch into the front of the hip, back of the hip, opening out through that hip joint. Okay. Just repeating that. Again, usually 8 to 10 times I say before you change the level of that exercise. Okay. Have a little rest, then go back to it 2 or 3 times round. So moving on, we've got variations of the Clam itself as well. So we can start to target various different portions of the hip. We can target different portions of gluteus medius, start to bring in gluteus minimus as well. Alright, so we've got our normal Clam, which we might do 8 times. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we float the heels away from the mat. In our Pilates we call this Clam level 2. Yeah, so we've got 3 more, 6, 7, 8. And then we can start to float the leg away, extend the knee. Okay, trying to keep the knee nice and still, but we extend the leg away, start to target the back of the hip. Bring the leg back down and relax the leg back to the other side. So turn the leg out to the side, straighten the leg away, bring the heel back together and relax it back down. Alright, so you can do that a few times. If that starts to get easier, we rotate the leg out to the side, straighten the leg away, you can then start to arc it around. Okay, tap it to the back, bring it back, so we're targeting the whole of that side of the hip. Heel back down to the other side and relax the leg back down. Okay, so rotate the leg out to the side, stretch the leg away, arc it over, keep that pelvic position nice and stable, arc it back up, and then bring the heel back down to meet the other side. Alright, so I'm starting to get a bit tired there now, so we're starting to lose some of that position. So just make sure that if you're working into those ranges, you're trying to come back to that good position each time. If it starts to tire, just focus on the quality rather than the quantity. We can also go into a bit more of an unbalanced position, so a little bit less stable. So by straightening the legs out, it means that you've not got the support from these bottom legs. So straighten the legs out, and then to do your Clam on this side, all we do is bend the knee, and then we're just going to tap down to the mat and open it all the way back out again. Tap down to the mat and open it back out. So we're challenging those balance reactions, challenging your abdominals to kick in with the glutes and start to make that exercise even harder with a bit more challenge. From there we can add in your leg extensions. You can add in your toe taps to the back, and gives you a really good thorough workout for those glutes. Good. So from there, You've got a load of different variations on how you can use your clam. Like I say, it's a really versatile exercise and really helps to build that strength so you can take that forwards through into the rest of your programme. So if you've got any problems with hip weakness, then clam's probably going to be your best friend and the one that will make the most difference. If you've got any more questions, if you're not sure how to work those hips, if you're not sure whether the hips are the problem in the first place, feel free to give us a ring and we'll get you booked in for an assessment with one of our fully qualified physiotherapists to assess how well your hips are working and then set you up a programme that's going to target those hips specifically.